Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlicker, shills, necessarily servers, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. I'm useful idiot. Welcome. So, it's here. The Department of Education will be eliminated. And so today they announced that they're cutting the staff by 50%, which really isn't that large in a sense. The Department of Education only consists of 4,000 people. So 2,000 people will immediately be eliminated. And offices around the country will be closed as well. And so this is just the first step. Of course, Congress is the only entity that can legally actually close the Department of Education. So for the meantime, the Trump administration will just gut it, and it will virtually be non-existent. And then we'll see what Congress does. But I assume Congress will go along. They have to, because there won't be anything left to vote to keep. But the Department of Education was created in 1979. I already did a video on this before, so unfortunately I'm going to have to cover some of the same points. But it was created in 1979, and in the 40 some odd years since then, I mean, the evidence is pretty ample that the Department of Education hasn't succeeded in much. They've gotten hundreds of millions of people, well, to tens of millions of people in debt for student loans, but the quality of American education has just plummeted. I think, as Trump pointed out, in a list of 1 to 40 countries, the United States was at 39, now we're at 40. So we spend the most on education and we get the worst results. And all you have to do is spend some time on YouTube looking at interviews on the street to show that young people in America are astonishingly ignorant. It's just unbelievable. And I know, at least when I was younger, of course I started school in the 60s, I managed to get a pretty decent education, and I got a decent education in college. But the education requirements now are so loose, I think you can practically even go through college without learning much of anything. And of course now all high school students and college students probably all cheat with AI. They probably don't even write their own papers. But it's also kind of amusing that Linda McMahon was confirmed as the head of the Department of Education, and now she's going to be the head of the Department of nothing. But this is definitely a step in eliminating it, and I'm a little perplexed by the outcry, particularly from the liberal base, because one thing, they've just gotten used to the Department of Education being there. Most of them don't remember a time when we didn't have a Department of Education, and I'm sure if they were questioned, they wouldn't even really be able to tell you what the Department of Education did or has done, what their functions are. And each state has their own Department of Education, so it's pretty easy to just take the $238 billion annually that goes to the Department of Education and distribute it to the states and let them run their own education systems. Because another problem with the centralized education system around the Department of Education is there's all these federal standards, and a lot of the regulations and social engineering ideas that come down from the Department of Education are what has contributed to us United States having such a shitty education system now. And I just keep going back to the main point. We've had the Department of Education for 40 years, and the quality of education in this country has plummeted. And why keep this office open? It can be folded into something else. Certainly, the student loan program is going to continue to exist with the Department of Education, and that's what most people are concerned with, I'm sure. But anyway, I, for one, am glad that the Department of Education is no longer exist, and I think nobody's going to even notice. That's the irony of it. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too?